George Michael, the legendary voice behind classics like Faith and Careless Whisper, captivated millions with his music. But behind the fame and glamour, his life was marked by hidden struggles and secrets that only came to light after his untimely death in 2016. As we uncover the darker aspects of his life, we gain a deeper understanding of the man behind the music and the challenges he silently faced. Close friends and family have started to open up, shedding light on the struggles and secrets that Michael carried with him. From battles with addiction to the pressures of fame, these revelations add a new layer to the story of a man who seemed to have it all. To understand this story, we need to start with how George Michael's life came to a heartbreaking end. George Michael's life came to a tragic and sudden end on Christmas Day, 2016. The world was shocked when news broke that the iconic singer had passed away in his sleep at the age of 53. The official cause of death was attributed to heart failure and liver disease, bringing to light the severe health issues he had been battling in private. Fans around the globe mourned the loss of a musical genius, while also beginning to learn about the personal struggles and dark secrets that had shadowed his life for years. The early years of George Michael don't seem to have been particularly traumatic for the singer, but they were reportedly marked with a damaging coldness and distance from his family. Born Georgios Kyriakos Panayiotou, the future star was raised in a small London apartment by two parents, but his father, an immigrant who ran a restaurant, was rarely around. That created a disconnect between father and son. Michael said he was never praised or held, which made his childhood far from the idyllic family life many imagine. Though he was interested in music from an early age, discovering an old gramophone in his parents' garage and writing his first song at age 6, he didn't realize he wanted to pursue music as his life's work until after a serious injury. At about 8 years old, he suffered a head injury, and after that, music became his sole focus. Interestingly, Michael didn't let his father know about his ambitions right away. His father had always doubted his singing ability, which only added to the emotional distance between them. Michael's struggles with substance abuse began later in his life, after his solo career had taken off. According to his former Wham manager Simon Napier-Bell, his battles with intoxicating substances became varied and extensive. In September 2008, Michael was found by police in a public restroom in North London using crack cocaine and marijuana. Although the amounts were small, it was a stark indicator of his deepening addiction. Kenny Goss, Michael's romantic partner for 15 years, revealed that drug use was a regular part of Michael's life. Goss often found and flushed drugs down the toilet, but Michael, being absent-minded, would just think he'd lost them. At the peak of his drug usage, Michael told The Guardian in 2009, he was subsisting on a diet of Starbucks and weed, smoking around 24 joints each day. By the time of the interview, he had reduced his intake to 7 or 8 a day. In 1998, George Michael revealed to CNN that he had his first same-sex relationship at age 27 in 1990. Shortly after, he met the man who would become one of the great loves of his life, albeit tragically brief. At a Wham reunion concert in Rio de Janeiro in 1991, Michael met Anselmo Filippa, a fan 7 years his senior, and it was love at first sight. Michael recounted that the moment he looked at Filippa, he felt he had met someone he could truly fall in love with. Within days, they became a couple, but just 2 months into their relationship, Filippa fell ill. He developed a rash and persistent flu, and doctors confirmed Michael's worst fears. Filippa had contracted AIDS. In the documentary George Michael Freedom, the singer described the harrowing wait for test results over Christmas Day 1991 as the darkest, most frightening time of his life, all while keeping their relationship and struggles secret from their families and the media. In March 1993, just 2 years after meeting Michael, Filippa tragically passed away at age 36 due to a brain hemorrhage during a medical procedure. His death left Michael devastated and in prolonged mourning. The sorrow deepened when, in 1996, Michael's mother, Leslie Angold Panayotou, was diagnosed with terminal cancer. She spent one last Christmas with Michael and their family before passing away in February 1997. In the documentary, George Michael Freedom, Michael expressed how spiritually crushed he felt after his mother's death. The grief was compounded, leading to a profound depression. Michael described this period as the darkest time of his life, feeling that his existence had been a waste of time. Even 2 decades later, he admitted he had never fully moved on from Philippa's death. George Michael once kept his personal life extremely private. He had to. The world wasn't too accepting of LGBT individuals, and for Michael to have revealed that he was a gay man could have destroyed his career overnight. 5 years after the devastating loss of his partner, Anselmo Filippa, Michael revealed his sexual identity to the public, not because he was ready or on his own terms, but because he had no choice after a salacious arrest. One afternoon in April 1998, according to the Los Angeles Times, a plainclothes police officer investigating a tip that the restrooms at Will Rogers Memorial Park in Los Angeles had been the site of some illegal activity, witnessed Michael engaged in a lewd act. Michael later claimed that the undercover officer committed entrapment, allegedly encouraging him to act. After posting the $500 bail, Michael decided to come clean. He went on CNN and came out as gay to reporter Jim Murray and the world at large. Michael stated, "I want to say that I have no problem with people knowing that I'm in a relationship with a man right now. I have not been in a relationship with a woman for almost 10 years. George Michael's issues with drugs certainly affected his life to some degree, including his physical and legal ability to operate an automobile. According to The Guardian, in October 2006, Michael was found half asleep behind the wheel of his Mercedes in North London. Arrested and booked on impaired driving charges, he entered a guilty plea in May 2007, and the court learned that Michael was under the influence of marijuana and the club drug GHB. The singer earned a sentence of 100 community service hours, along with a 2-year suspension of his driving privileges. At about 4 a.m. one Sunday morning in July 2010, police in North London responded to a call about a car that had crashed into the front of a Snappy Snaps film processing center. The driver, still behind the wheel of the Range Rover amid the wreckage, was George Michael. He was arrested and booked with marijuana on his person and, as a blood test revealed, in his bloodstream. Michael pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 8 weeks in High Point Prison, of which he ultimately served about half. In 2013, Michael fell out of his car while driving on England's M1 freeway, reportedly while trying to correct an improperly closing door. He was airlifted to a hospital and treated for a head injury. George Michael's Symphonica tour wound through Europe in 2011. Unfortunately, Michael had to cancel or reschedule quite a few stops due to various frightening and potentially life-threatening medical emergencies. In October 2011, he canceled a scheduled performance at Royal Albert Hall in London after being diagnosed with a viral infection and a woefully high temperature. That concert was rescheduled to take place a month later, which Michael again had to back out of when he got sick. And this time, it was even more serious. Merely 2 hours before he was set to take the stage at the Stadthalle in Vienna, the show was canceled while Michael was rushed to a hospital. Several other tour dates had to be put off while Michael lay in a bed in AKH Hospital fighting for his life, diagnosed with pneumonia. According to ABC News, Michael's case was life-threatening, and he wasn't able to leave doctor's care until well into December. Michael processed the event as a near-death experience, and for the better part of the following year, he suffered from severe anxiety as a result. It got so bad that Michael canceled a 9-day Australian tour because he was mentally unable to perform. While George Michael publicly exhibited the effects of a lifelong struggle with substance abuse, including arrests for public intoxication and possession of controlled substances. His drug issues may have troubled him far more than his fans were aware, especially in the last few years of his life. "I believe easy access to drugs was the cause of his problems," his friend Gary Farrow told The Sun, according to the Daily Beast. "Once this disease gets hold of you, it's hard to fight it." A source close to Michael told The Telegraph that the singer's drug problem almost killed him multiple times. "He's been rushed to A&E on several occasions," the individual said, referring to Michael's emergency medical care for overdoses on undisclosed substances. "He used heroin? I think it's amazing he's lasted as long as he has." What are your thoughts about George Michael's life? Comment down below, and don't forget to check out this next video.